Okay, good evening. Welcome to the February 28th, 2022 regular business meeting of Board of School Trustees held in public with a start time of 6 o'clock this evening. If you may all rise, we're going to ask Mr. Angel to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Angel. I do. Mr. Hoffman, how are you doing this evening? I know you're joining us via Zoom. All right, great. Just want to acknowledge that you're with us this evening. Item 2 on the agenda tonight, we have the Board of School Trustees Resolution of Commendation Awards. 2.1 is the Crown Point High School girls basketball team for outstanding accomplishments over the last 4 years. 4 sectional titles, 3 regional titles, a semi-state title, and a state title. We'll go through the individual names when we have the opportunity to bring them forward. 2.2, we have the Crown Point High School wrestling team for being named state champions at the 2022 IHSA Wrestling State Finals and having 3 state champion individuals and 3 state runner-ups. We'll also go through them individually by name when we have a chance to bring them forward. Do we have a motion to approve the recommendations this evening? Resolution commendation awards this evening? Moved by Mr. Angel and second by Mr. Babchak. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries 5-0, and now we can present the commendations. Let's see, we have Coach Lorick. Girls will be first, but would you bring the boys over to this side and let them come in for the girls? Yeah, I think we're going to have room in here for, maybe go against the wall for now until the girls finish up. If it's too crowded, we'll just ask that the coaches stay back, but we should be fine. And Mr. Angel is going to be presenting the commendation to the girls basketball team coming forward.
Oh, never mind. Holy cow. All right. Well, this is well worth it. What a big group. This is great. All right. Tonight's commendation, before I get to the commendation, once again, the Crown Point High School girls basketball team is being recognized tonight for outstanding accomplishments over the last 4 years. 4 sectional titles, 3 regional titles, 1 semi-state title, and 1 state title. If I'm not mistaken, also undefeated at home. Correct. What was the Duneland record over that time, Coach? 28-0 as well. So I knew there were some added things, and as much as I followed it, I knew I'd miss a couple. So, but congratulations, ladies, staff, and everything, because that deserves a round of applause even before I get started. So I will read the commendation award. The resolution of commendation. The Crown Point Board of School Trustees is honored to commend the 2021-2022 Crown Point High School girls basketball team for meritorious achievement. Be it hereby resolved that the Board of School Trustees of the Crown Point Community School Corporation wishes to express sincere congratulations to the 2021-2022 Crown Point High School girls basketball team for outstanding accomplishments over the last 4 years. 4 sectional titles, 3 regional titles, 1 semi-state title, and 1 state title. The Board of School Trustees publicly recognizes this achievement and renders it permanently to its minutes to be preserved for public posterity dated this 28th day of February, 2022. I would just like to state before I get into these and read these, from a perspective as a parent, school board member, and that just what an outstanding job, and the fact that you are just looked up to in the community as being wonderful young ladies in every which way, shape, or form. So that's the acknowledgement that your parents should be very proud of. I'm sure your coaching staff is as well. And to be winners on the court and show all that, those other attributes, the fact is that you're really good young ladies is just an outstanding tribute to the city of Crown Point. So thank you and congratulations. We will want to get a picture, so I'll read them, and then if you just go back to where you're at, and then we'll take it from there. Lily Stoddard. Jessica Carruthers. Mariana Maldonado. Nikki Giadermis. Olivia Santiago. Emily Phillips. Zoe Wells. It's hard because I recognize them in basketball uniforms and then like all dressed up, like kind of like who's who. Abby Foster. Brooke Linsmith. Ava Zolkowski. Christian Fraley. Ellie Rawls. Ray Holock. Caitlin Jager. Camden Gleam. Just make sure I didn't miss any players, because it looks like we got all coaches next.
A couple managers that are still in.
Okay, all right. We'll get to them, trust me. I know you're in here. The stack's good. Coach Chris Seibert. Coach Scott Reed. I'd be remiss at this point not to mention Coach Reed is retiring after how many years, Coach? 40 years. So congratulations to Coach Reed. Coach Mark Jr. Amanda Stillman. Ashley Parrish. Taylor Tyndall. Ernie Sanborn. Brendan Ward. Paige Sanborn. Ken Ring. Sorry. Kelly Benson. Maddie Maddox. Jamie Pierce. Dan Merrill. Okay, so with that, congratulations. Where's Mr. Marcinek?
Right.
Mr. Marcinek, got a couple points to add?
Sure, I think everybody knows about the excellence that our girls have shown on the basketball court, but what's important to us is kind of what you said, Ms. Rangel, about what good people they are and how well they've represented our school, not this year, but in previous years as well. And they're humble, they're kind, they understand how to greet people and talk to people, and I just have nothing but good things to say about the way they represent our school. And that's what's important to us, and that's become the basketball court is just a symptom of the overall great people they are. And I want to thank Coach Seibert and his staff and for the job that they do and the time they spend with our girls day in and day out at practices and games and the off season. It's a 12-month-a-year deal now, and our girls and our coaching staff just do a great job of putting in the effort it takes to be successful. But again, regardless if they would have won or lost games and what the result is on the court, all of them are good students and just represent us in such a positive way. We can't be prouder of them, so thank you.
The seniors to step forward. Seniors on the team. You know, these girls, 4-year run, they've been on the team for 4 years. So that included what we say, 4 DAC titles, and then a state championship, which is so hard to do in 4A basketball. Congratulations, seniors.
While we're getting the picture, are there parents out in the audience if you're here for the girls' basketball team? Anyone? I know we've got a wife and a daughter over here for girls' basketball team.
All right, some of the shorter girls get in front so we can try and scoot into one picture.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Good spot. Great spot.
Girls, if some of you could go on that side, we want you to kind of hang out while we acknowledge the wrestling team as well. So just go over there, ask Mr. Marshall to get out of the way. There you go.
You know, reminiscent.
Wrestlers, if you want to go ahead and come on up. So we can put some of the girls
Everyone except Leo. Yeah. Well, I'm like 5 pounds. Keep going down. I could probably still make 82.
All right. Well, I don't know, Dr. Terrell. I'm pretty sure it's a safe bet that we've never had so many state champions in this room at the same time before. It's we might need a, I don't even think we need a fact check on that one. So pretty impressive. As Mr. Angel said, before even getting into the commendation, what an amazing group of young men and young ladies, and that's somewhat why we asked you guys to stay in the room for the boys to go as well. Many times throughout the season, things are taking place in the community, and you get in conversations about what an unbelievable run the girls' basketball team is having, and the next thing you know, someone's talking about, well, have you paid attention to what the boys wrestlers are doing? And for one school corporation to have such success that all of you have given in a short run is pretty amazing. And the thing is, or possibly the scary thing is, I think you guys have had such an impact on the youth behind you that I would not be surprised to see this continue. You're talking about 8-year-old boys that maybe thought they were going to play basketball, now they want to wrestle. And I'm no kidding. It's contagious. So that is something that's an impact on our community with your behaviors and the respect that you have and everything else that it'll last for a very long time. So thank you for that.
Coach Hawkins indicated we got 10 more years of it.
Excellent. So as we said, the Crown Point High School wrestling teams being named state champions at the 2022 IHSA Wrestling State Finals, and having 3 state champion individuals, 3 runner-ups. Now I'm going to get back to the team. I'm going to go through read the commendation to you guys. I'll have to paraphrase a little bit, but resolution accommodation. Crown Point Board of School Trustees is honored to commend the 21-22 Crown Point High School wrestling team for meritorious achievement. Be it hereby resolved that the Board of School Trustees for the Crown Point Community School Corporation wishes to express sincere congratulations to the 21-22 Crown Point High School wrestling team for the prestigious honor of being named state champions at the 2022 IHSA Team Wrestling State Finals. And something that I also don't know is that well understood by everybody, but you're actually kind of state champs in couple varieties, correct? You had the dual state champions, and then was that a pretty clear record? They changed the point system over the years, but this team set a state record for points achieved
Yeah,
at state.
We broke the state record. It was early in the tournament, but we were up, so there was like last year's record, which I don't even think we were in the semis yet, and we broke that record. And then people kept talking about another record, and so someone's like, it's 161. I'm like, well, we're at like 160 now, and we still have the final. So we were well on the way to breaking a few.
No, that was pretty amazing, and also I'm not very active at all or look at social media often, but I will say that the favorite tweet I've seen in the last couple months was anyone, anywhere, and it's pretty hard to support somebody to be that bold, except when they've accomplished what you guys have accomplished. I mean, I can sit here and tell stories about all of your achievements all night, but as someone in my mid-40s sitting on a couch on a Friday afternoon, and next thing you know, a group text message starts with 6 guys all scattered around the state that we went to high school with, saying, "Hey, you following the match in Illinois when you guys were at Mount Carmel?" And going one match at a time, just seeing how this is going to shake out. It was just a really neat run, and we can't say enough about it. But let's go through. We have our individual state champions. We had Jesse Mendez he's practicing this evening, right? He's not able to be here. He was at 138. I will find his. I'm not going in order of what's here, so I might have to flip through them. How about Logan Frazier at 126? Congratulations, Logan. And we had Sammy Goin, 152. And the individual state runner-ups, Gavin Jandreas, 106. Congratulations. Nice job. Anthony Ball, 132. That's the next job. Congratulations. And Orlando Cruz, 182. Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, so those were our state champions and our state runner-ups. Now let's go through the order of the rest of the team. We have Natur Novacek. Evan Cruz. Jesse Mendez, who we know is not here. Nick Tina. As soon as I said it. Nick Tatini. Cody Goodwin. Anthony White. Will Clark. Paul Clark. Liam Begley. Coach Lorick. And Coach Hawkins. Vince Sessa, Coach Sessa? Okay. Well, we know we have some other coaches, and we've seen that as well, that all the help your coaching staff, and I always think that we can't thank the parents enough for all the time that they put into things as well, and I'm sure they're all as proud as can be. So congratulations, guys. How about Dr. Terrell? Would you like to say anything about the wrestling team from what you
Parents.
see?
Do we have parents out here? Raise your hands, parents. Thank you for your support. Bill, do you have anything you want to add with this group?
Just that, I've been going to, been around for a long time. I've been going to almost 40 years in wrestling. Been some dominating teams down there in the past. I've dealt with Belmont, Evansville, a few, but you guys just dominated it. And then the great thing was, all the compliments I got on you guys on your behavior. And, sportsmanship. That's what we really appreciate. So tremendous, guys. We're looking forward to next year. We got A scores back, so let's keep it going.
Right. I did have one more thing I wanted to share. Dr. Terrell showed it to me, and we need to read a couple of the emails that have just come across. We had one that was directed to an administrator here. He said, hey, I wanted to give you some CP people a shout out. I had the pleasure of working as a floor worker at the IHSA state wrestling finals last weekend. I worked the wrestling, in quotes, wrestling entry area, where all wrestlers and coaches were sent to their mats to compete. I had a lot of contact with all the competitors and coaches over the 2-day tournament. I just want you to know as an administrator that your CP wrestling coaches and athletes showed great sportsmanship throughout the entire tournament. Obviously, the team is a juggernaut, demolishing the state scoring record. Sometimes those, in quotes again, powerhouse teams are arrogant and diva-ish and expect everyone else to bow to them. I saw none of that from Crown Point, even though they were the dominant team there. Your coaches were a pleasure to work with. They are polite, humble, and fun to be around. The same could be said of your kids. As a worker and a longtime coach, I appreciated their positive behavior. They definitely represented Crown Point well. By the way, the coaches that I had the most contact were with Coach Lorick, Hawkins, and Sessa, all great representatives of CP. Have a great day, brother. We had another one that was sent. Dr. Terrell, wasn't there a third?
There's two on the second page.
Yep, here's one. So it said, just a quick note of congratulations on the dominant performance of your wrestling program this past weekend. Really impressive wrestling and coaching, but maybe even more impressive was the way your kids conducted themselves. It was great to see and applaud your leadership. This is from the Director of Athletics at Penn. That's pretty special to hear from somebody, you know, of that stature to reach out to tell you guys how great you were as competitors. And then Jesse received one directed towards him for while at the state finals, this individual's family was sitting next to the Mendez family. On several occasions, Jesse came up and addressed members of his family, and my family all mentioned how much respect he showed to his family. Following his championship match, I was blown away by his acknowledging the entire crowd, not just CP, after winning his 4th state championship. In his post-match speech, he once again acknowledged all wrestling fans. It has been a pleasure to witness this young man's exceptional high school career. So, guys, best of luck to you next year and all the seniors. You're going to do great in everything you choose to do in life, so congratulations. Hey, Ms. Marzak, anything?
Yeah, again, I just want to congratulate all of our wrestlers, Coach Hawkins, Coach Lord. What a great job our young men did this whole season and throughout the state tournament, and certainly down in Indianapolis. And one of the things that I really love about our wrestlers is that I could count on them. You know, they're good people, they're good kids, they're good students. And just like what we would expect all of our student leaders to be in school, our wrestlers exemplify that. So more than anything, just like Mr. Warney said, and Dr. Terrell and Mr. Gorilla, that's what I'm most proud of. I witnessed what you guys did downstate, but again, the way you conducted yourselves, and you had humility, you had honor, and you just did everything that we would want a Crown Point athlete to do. And for that, I'm very grateful for making us all look good and representing not only our school, but our community, and all the people that came before you, as well as the younger people who will come after you. You set the example. And want to just congratulate Coach Lorick for the job that he did, as well as Coach Hawkins. And one of the things about Coach Lorick that you may not know, but during the school day, Brandon works with some of our most at-risk students who've got some significant physical disabilities. And he does such a great job with those students. And then he moves on to coach the wrestling after school. And I just feel like there's, as far as a faculty member who deserves a state championship, I don't know if there's anyone more deserving than Brandon for the work he's done over the years, day in and day out with an at-risk population that he does, and with great compassion and making those families feel good about being in school. So Coach Lord, Coach Hawkins, great job, and Coach Seibert, all exemplify what we do on our leaders as coaches. I also want to give a shout out to Tracy and Annie and Jen for being, behind the scenes doing all that they do for those programs, because it's not easy to be a wife of a coach with all the things that they have to deal with over the course of the year. Not only that, but they're professionals, all work in our school system. Of course, Tracy's a principal at Taft, Annie's an assistant principal for us, and Jen also works at the high school with some of our students who need additional help. So again, just a feel-good moment for everybody. I could go on and on talking about how great I feel about all this. So thank you for everything that everybody does. We appreciate you, and certainly I do. So thank you very much.
While you guys are getting together for your picture, One thing I want to say about both groups, while your state trophies and everything that girls you've brought in over the last 4 years, wrestlers, what you've done, I think the bigger thing here is they're great kids like you've heard. And I could go on, like Russ just said, with stories, but I'm going to tell you, early on in the year, my wife and I are sitting there on a Saturday watching our wrestling team wrestle. Jesse's not here tonight, but one of the wrestlers came off and did not perform as well as they thought they should have that day, and may or may not have thrown their headgear. And Jesse went to them and said, pick it up and don't let it happen again, and swatted them on the butt and said, we're better. And that's the kind of thing they are. Girls play on the varsity plays on a Friday night, right before our boys varsity team plays. So Lily, again, one of our best athletes representing the girl team, is sitting on the side of the bleachers, right there where there's stairs come up. You didn't even know I saw you do this. And she was finishing her supper, whatever her mom brought her in her Tupperware dish. And she had just set it down, and this little guy comes running up the bleachers, and he has this pretzel and cheese in that plastic thing, you know, that every elementary kid is just dying to eat. And he comes running up, and he starts to trip over the step. Lily catches the pretzel and cheese, and then helps him get up, and then just like encourages him as he goes up. And I'm like, you know what? Here's two of our best performing athletes doing great things for our community. That's our kids. And that's repeated over and over and over again. And we're not done. Gymnastics is still going, and they'll be here hopefully at our next meeting as we go forward as well. So thank you guys, appreciate it. Let's get some pictures, and you guys can get out of here and have a great evening.
Before these guys break your,
Tracy, you got one for all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are you sure? Thank you for having.
Yeah, awesome job.
Well, that was certainly one of the longer accommodations that we've had, but well-deserved. So we appreciate them all coming this evening. Their participation here this evening was great. Item 3, patrons' comments. We do not have any this evening. Move to item 4, the consent agenda. Dr. Terrell.
For your consideration this evening, we have
Thank you, Dr. Terrell. Per the recommendation, as presented, do we have a motion to approve?
so moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Smith and second by Mr. Angel. Any questions or comments for Dr. Terrell on the consent agenda? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries 5-0. The action items, we have 5.1, amendments to the standard agreements between Crumpler City School Corporation, Gibraltar, and Skillman for multiple projects. Dr. Terrell.
Thank you. So tonight we're bringing to you amendments both for Gibraltar and also Skillman. As you guys know, we were very successful in our bond sale and raised additional dollars, which therefore allows us to do additional projects. And because of the additional projects, there were additional costs that go with the architectural work that goes with it, and then obviously the construction work that goes with that as well. All
Heard recommendation to approve the amendments to accurately reflect the changes in the scope of the 2021 projects as attached. Do we have a motion to approve?
Second?
It was moved by, Mr. Babjack? Moved by Mr. Babjack, second by Mr. Angel. Any questions or comments for Dr. Terrell? I do know that I want to also thank Dion for being present this evening. Dion's here. If we have any questions, I would assume he'd be happy to answer them as well. Sorry. If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? That motion carries 5-0. And said Dion, but excuse me, Mr. Caceres, thank you for joining us this evening in case there are any questions there. 5.2 is the Lightspeed amplification sound system purchase. Let's go into Mr. Hardman.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Gill, who's back in the back running our sound and our system, for accomplishing the task of getting these next three items on the agenda for your approval tonight. This is for the Lightspeed amplification system that goes within our classroom. This was actually approved by you by the school board on April 26, 2021. It was under a QPA contract that is no longer being honored for Lightspeed. So therefore, there's a new QPA contract by PPM, as you can see in the analysis of this. The actual cost now for these 425 additional Lightspeed amplification systems will be $23 less on this new contract, which is good, and seeking your approval tonight to purchase these. The original contract that we had, we did purchase the Lightspeed amplification for Winfield Elementary School, and then it was after that, as we were trying to purchase these additional ones for the rest of the corporation, we had to make the transition to a different QPA because the first one was not being honored. So these 425 amplification sound systems will fulfill what we need throughout the district in every classroom, every space that we have for our children, for our students, for our teachers. Seeking your approval tonight to purchase 425 Lightspeed amplification sound systems.
Thank you, Mr. Hardman. Your recommendation to approve the purchase of 425 Lightspeed amplification sound systems with the Flex Mic and Media Connector from Lightspeed Technologies Incorporated at a cost of $555,075 from the PPM, I'm not sure, QPA contract. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Angel and second by Mr. Smith. Any questions or comments from Mr. Hardman?
Mr. Hardman or Mr. Gill, is there like a lifespan on these? They're like 20 years, 10 years?
I think they're rated at about 15 years.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries 5-0. And 5.3 is the Clear Touch interactive panels. Mr. Hardman?
In addition to the amplification systems, we are seeking your approval this evening to purchase 425 Clear Touch 86-inch interactive panels with document cameras, webcams, and the mounting carts for installation. Currently, we did purchase 50 of those for Winfield as they were going through their renovation. This now will be to complete the ability to have a interactive panel in all of our classrooms for the upcoming school year. Would like to again thank Mr. Gill, thank his staff, thank Sabrina for the training that they've been able to provide to all of our staff at Winfield. We're learning a lot, and we'll be planning actually on Friday to roll out 425 of screens like that are touchscreen, bigger than that in our classrooms. for teachers to use, students to use, and interact with. So we're excited about this, this purchase. So this evening, seeking your approval to purchase 425 ClearTouch 86-inch interactive panels, document cameras, webcams, and adjustable mount cards.
Thank you, Mr. Hardman. You heard the recommendation to approve the purchase of 425 Clear Touch 86-inch interactive panels. You have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second?
Moved by Mr. Smith and second by Mr. Angel. Questions or comments for Mr. Gill, Mr. Hardman? I think, so Mr. Hardman, you said that Winfield has had 50?
Yes.
And when did they start using them?
They were installed before the holidays, and then we've done professional development in January, and they actually are in the classrooms now being used by our teachers.
So we've had a nice, I mean, it might be short, but an opportunity to
Test them out.
Test them out.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. And I just like Mr. Angel's question, or the lifespan on these, Mr. Gill, on this.
They're telling me at least 10 years.
And then what type of features, just something simple that maybe we wouldn't understand or anybody that might be listening that, you know, like kind of the quote unquote cool features that will be able to, you know, be used with these, is there potential, you know, remote learning opportunities with them or?
Oh, yeah, with the webcams, you can do Zoom sessions on it. One of the big ones is for the students, they can cast their Chromebook to the panel seamlessly.
Got it. So as Mr. Gill said, a student can actually cast their Chromebook to the panel.
And it even ties into the sound piece as well. So whatever's being played through the TV will play through the sound system.
Thank you.
I would just like to say, knowing how technology changes, to get 10 years out of something and 15 out of something else, that's really good for, I mean, yes, it's a substantial amount of money, but for 10 and 15 years, knowing how things change every 1 or 2 years, outstanding on your end. You have to research and get us the right stuff for our students and teachers.
I would just add that this is as great of a device for the lower elementary kids as it is for our high school most advanced kids, and how, so the stands that they're on, it can literally lower it all the way down to where it's resting almost on the floor, so our smallest learners can go up and interact with it, and then it's amazing the different things it can do. So we thought we could do a day-long PD on it for our teachers, or just give it to like 3 third graders for about 10 minutes and let them figure it out. Yeah. And it's amazing to watch how they go through it, so it's gonna be great.
Yes, before we vote, guys, I'm going to reread this recommendation because I cut it off short, but it wouldn't be appropriate to not read the full thing with the dollar amount there. So we are voting to approve the purchase of 425 ClearTouch 86-inch interactive panels, document cameras, webcams, adjustable mount carts, and installation from Tri Electronics at a cost of $2,622,906. $2,622,947. Do we motion to? I'm sorry, we already motioned and approved. We're going to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carried. Tom, you were there, an aye on that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That motion carried 5-0. 5.4, district access points. Mr. Hardman.
Thank you again, Mr. Warning. We are at a point where we're refreshing our access points throughout the school district to make sure that we have the highest level of Wi-Fi connectivity and performance for the students and staff. Therefore, and again, this is connected to Winfield. We did this for Winfield, and you approved the access points, and they were Aruba access points, which is probably a gold standard at this point in time. So when the bid went out, 2 of the bids came in that were Meraki. That's what we had currently replaced. One came in as Aruba, and that's the one that we're recommending tonight, that you approve a purchase of 757 Aruba access points, mounts, licenses, and installation from Moss for $674,127.97.
For the recommendation, as Mr. Hardman just presented, to approve the purchase of 757 Aruba access points, mouse license installation from Moss at $674,127.97. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Babjack,
Second?
and second by Mr. Angel. Any further questions for Mr. Hardman, or we'll include Mr. Gilligan? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries 5-0. And 5.5 is approval to apply for and receive grant funding from the Cron Community Foundation for Lake Street Sensory Path. Mr. Harmon.
Thank you, Mr. Warning. Seeking your approval tonight to apply for and receive the grant funding from the Crown Point Foundation, $750 for what's called a sensory path. This is a path that touches all the senses, smell, touch, let me get all 5 of them. Sight, sound, all the 5. I think I left one out right there, something, taste. Maybe that's what, maybe it's not so much taste because I couldn't see it. But this is a location in the building where the children can go for just a break, a little bit of focus time, get away from the classroom, or in some cases where a student might need to be get away from the classroom for a moment as far as to get focused and refocused back in the classroom and then return. So the foundation has provided, has already sent a check for $750. The cost of this is actually $1,500. We have these in different buildings. I know you mentioned in the Grant MacArthur, I think that's where they, Lake Street went to look at and basically purchase one similar to that. So this evening, seeking your approval to apply for and receive the grant funding from the foundation in an amount of $750.
Thank you, Mr. Harmon. We've heard the recommendation to approve the apply for and accept the grant funding from the Cron Community Foundation. Do we have a motion to approve? Moved by Mr. Babjack and second by Mr. Smith. Any questions or comments from Mr. Harmon? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And 5.6, approval to apply for and receive grant funding from the Lake County Master Gardeners Association grant for Lake Street Elementary.
Thank you. Teacher Caitlin Wool applied for this grant from the Lake County Master Gardeners Association, amount of $500. And this is really to do work in the courtyard at Lake Street to give it a kind of an upgrade with some maintenance and some upkeep. That will be done by different student clubs, volunteers, or local landscapers. So they're seeking the grant funding of $500 from the Lake County Masters Garden Association, seeking your approval tonight to apply for and receive those funds.
Thank you, Mr. Harmon. You've heard the recommendation to approve to apply for and accept grant funding from the Lake County Master Gardeners Association for a grant of $500. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Angel and second by Mr. Babjack. Any questions or comments?
Just like to make sure we mention thank you to the Gardeners Association and the Community Foundation for helping out our children in the community.
Any others? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And 5.7, Mr. Hardman, 2022 Crown Point City School Corporation Summer School Program.
Yeah, thank you again. This evening, I bring to you the 2022 summer school programming. It's very comparable to what we've approved in the past, with courses that will take place kindergarten through grade 7, or I guess, and then students in 8th grade going to the high school. We'll be offering a 3-week program for the elementary students that will begin June the 13th and the 30th of June. They attend 12 days, 4 days a week for that. The high school will be starting June the 13th and end July 15th. And those are courses for credit for our students that they take. I would point out that this year, as we submit our programming to the Indiana Department of Education, you can receive up to 105% of the eligible costs in reimbursement from the state based on their budget and what they've appropriated. 2 years ago, we did receive 104.45%, so it was a good year. Last year, when you look at it financially, it was not such a good year because we received 60% of the reimbursement. And I believe that indicates that more school corporations were providing summer school. And if you recall, last year there was the learning gap. They wanted to accelerate learning because of COVID and moving that forward. So many more corporations took money or applied or had summer school. We don't know what that means for this year. Normally we get 80 to 85% reimbursement. So 104 is really good, 60 is really bad. So we're hoping to recover that. But we are in a position with ESSER, which is the federal government grant, to offset costs this year, so that we can protect the education fund that we have. So seeking your approval of the 2022 Crown Point Community School Corporation Summer School Program.
Thank you, Mr. Hardeman. You've heard the recommendation to approve the 2022 Crown Point City School Corporation Summer School Program. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Angel and second by Mr. Babjack. Any questions or comments?
How soon do we get a response from the state on what they approved, Jim?
Usually it's about November.
Okay.
We submit the final reports in September, and then we'll get information in November.
Any others? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And we have information items. Start with 6.1. We got superintendent's discussion groups. Normally would lead off with Mr. Smith, who keeps in touch with Cedar Lake.
Yes, thank you, David. Cedar Lake has been just still tabling things from the winter and throughout, talking about TIF districts and facade grants. I think things will heat up. They start coming around in springtime and matters pick up. So there's really nothing specific to report to our school corporation at this point.
Thank you. And usually, how about Mr. Hoffman, maybe anything from the city or Winfield, or add Mr. Angel to that discussion?
I have nothing at this time.
Okay. I'll take a quick opportunity to tell Dr. Terrell, thank you for continuing to grow a relationship with the city as we've heard over the last year, few months. By relationship, I'm just meaning willingness to work together, talk together, figure out what we could do as school district and city to help one another. Seems like there's some progress being made from the past, so thank you.
I might also let you guys know, I will be speaking at the Cedar Lake Chamber of Commerce Luncheon on the 8th, 11:30. So just as a heads up, they wanted to get some more information about all the exciting projects that are going on in our district. So especially with MacArthur and the major remodel we're getting ready to do out there in addition. So
Where's that at, Dr. Joe?
that is going to be at, help me out, Diane.
The Cedar Lake Ministries.
Oh, no, I thought maybe he was at the lighthouse, he might have needed company for lunch. Just looking out.
Dion is accompanying me.
Oh, see, all right, Dion's good, all right.
Our math.
Just want to make sure.
That's it.
All right. Moving down the list, 6.2, Director of Elementary Education, Ms. Ramirez.
Thank you, Mr. President and school board members. I just wanted to take this opportunity to kind of bookend the start of the meeting tonight, where we're able to see the great accomplishments, the talents, and the citizenship that our students demonstrate at the high school level, and wanted to kind of, I guess, share some accolades from our elementary, because it really, I think, is the starting point for our students in their growth of being strong community members, contributing not only to their school, but to the larger community as a whole, and really to starting to develop their talents with diverse offerings that we have. So if you will grant me, I'll go as quickly as I can. I think, as you see on social media, on the websites as well for each school, they have such great accomplishments, talented students, and dedicated sponsors and leaders who create great opportunities for our students. So I'll start with Winfield, and I think it's awesome to see that earlier this month, the second grade RoboCats placed 5th out of 48 teams, and that was out of 48 teams that included middle school students as well. So our second grade team is already really demonstrating some strengths in the area of robotics. They also are very philanthropic at Winfield and have raised almost $10,000 for the American Heart Association through the Kids Heart Challenge. Likewise, robotics is a great strong suit of MacArthur, and they will be competing at the state competition for robotics coming up in the middle of March. And MacArthur also inducted their first National Elementary Honor Society group of students this year, and that group of students raised $1,500 for St. Jude here in Crown Point earlier this year as part of their service project. At Lake Street, we also have another robotics team that is going to state competition this year, and their NEHS is currently fundraising for leukemia and lymphoma, and they are in full swing. This continues to really be a heart of philanthropy at Lake Street, and really is a reflection of their school's culture. At Ike, they have really dedicated over the past 9 years a lot of time and effort into fundraising for St. Baldrick's. And I was astonished by this number. I had to do a double check on this one. So this is their 9th year of being the Eisenhower Bald Eagles for St. Baldrick's, and they have raised collectively $204,000 over 9 years for St. Baldrick's. So I just think it is, again, just an ongoing passion and a true, legacy to the school and to the community. T-Ball currently has their student council actively involved in raising money and donation of items to the Nick Foundation, which is the Northwest Indiana Cancer Kids Organization Foundation, as well as then have also been working with the Lake County Animal Shelter. So I think it's really great to get to see the scope of the philanthropy that happens throughout our buildings. Lastly, for T-Ball, they started their first One School, One Book program this year, in which all of the students, the staff, this included bus drivers, crossing guards, were given a book, and they read this as a school community and really fostered the idea of school-home connection, engaging activities, and really developed a positive culture in the building to promote literacy and a passion for reading. And let me move on to Solon. They had some really great celebrations as of recently with our kindergartner and first graders celebrating the 100th day of school, and I'm sure on social media you were able to see some of those pictures. What I thought was also really fascinating, last Tuesday, which was February 22nd, 2022, so 2. Maybe I threw in one more, too many twos. They had their first graders create time capsules that they will open as seniors on March 3rd, 2033. So that will be 3333. So they have some very good foresight to think about when the kids will be seniors, and it'll be interesting to see what those time capsules contain. Lastly, Jerry Ross is hitting the ground running, pun intended. They have their Girls on the Run spring season kicking off tomorrow, and they also are wrapping up their National Elementary Honor Society Spread the Love, which is school supply drive for St. Jude. So just wanted to share with you the great work that is starting at such a young age and that I have no doubt will continue until they graduate from us, and then will continue as citizens, hopefully, of Crown Point.
Thank you for the updates, Ms. Ramirez. And Director of Secondary Education, Mr. Gianfermi.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members. Let's talk about what happens when they kind of keep moving up here. So, yes, our athletic teams had a great run here in early February, but let me talk about what happened that same week that our girls were winning that regional championship and the boys were dominating at the semi-state level. It started on Thursday, February 10th. Mr. Dan White, our auto teacher, took a team of students to compete in the Universal Technical Institute Top Tech Challenge. 4 states were represented, 22 teams, and Crown Point came in first place. The team of Will Hodge and Tyler Anderson. Both individuals won a $10,000 scholarship. Both got toolboxes, not one you carry on the side, but one you put in the garage for your vehicle type of things, and hand tools for the high school. So Mr. White has been taking the kids for to that competition for a while now, and it's great to see us take first place. So then let's move to Saturday, February 12th. If you travel to Crown Point High School on Saturday, February 12th, let me tell you what you might have encountered. First, you could have started anywhere across the building where ISMA competition was going on, where our band students brought home 135 medals and qualified for 26 out of 27 events for the state ISMA competition. Could have moved down the hallway to the World Language Department and seen our Latin team competing. We had 4 teams competing against 19 teams from 8 schools. We took 2 first places, a second place, and a 4th place. Latin team always performing well. Then you could have went to the auditorium where our speech and debate was hosting a regional competition with 10 high schools across northern Indiana. We fared very well in that. We are really starting to pick up momentum in our speech and debate competition team, and we're really happy about the progress they're making. And then if you didn't have enough, you could have went to the field house, took in a VEX Robotics qualifying competition where we had 3 teams qualify for state. Now, if you couldn't get a parking spot at the high school, you could have went to Colonel Wheeler, where they too were having a middle school VEX competition where both middle schools had teams qualify state for the state competition. So as we were
performing very well in the athletic realm, we are also doing an awful lot here. And it's great that we hosted most of that right here at our high school, all at one time. We had all those schools from all across the state. And our kids, of course, it's a great day to be a Bulldog, as I like to say. And they're doing well, and we're very proud of them. And we appreciate all the time our teachers and coaches and administrators put in to host those events and make those opportunities for our kids. And our kids always come through because they're great. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Gianfermi. Director of Exceptional Education, Ms. Vasquez.
Good evening, President Warney, members of the board. We are already in full gear planning for next year. So one of the steps we're taking before the end of March is that each of our special programs will meet with, like fifth grade, will meet with sixth grade teachers for our special programming. It's both sets of administrators, both sets of teachers, and our coordinators facilitate some conversation on those students' strengths and how to best set them up for success next year as they transfer to a new building and a new staff. We have a couple of exciting events planned for the coming months. For the first time ever, on Wednesday, April 27th, we will host a transition fair at Crown Point High School in the evening, and that is, I think we're up to 37 booths right now. It includes adult agencies, banks, trades, just to all of our students, once they hit 14 and older, we have to start planning for their transition post-school. So this will be for their families, for the students, just showing them what options are out there. And then the return of our Special Olympics game day, it's called Young Champions Game Day, and it will be Wednesday, May 25th at the high school. So I'll share more information with you. We would love to have you come out that day and see all of our athletes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vasquez. Chief Academic Officer, Mr. Hartman.
On March the 2nd, if you're not doing anything, we have an exciting event going on at Crown Point High School. You can walk the halls and see approximately 700 students taking the SAT. They will be there for about 3 hours, and you may enjoy that. This is the first time that all students will be taking the SAT. It is the new state required test. So if you are available and want to walk the halls, just don't go into a classroom because I can't even stay serious on this. Yeah, you could tailgate. That would be. No, I think that would be very good. If you guys wanted to tailgate out in the parking lot before the event, please do. They'll be testing about 7:30 in the morning, so maybe it's a breakfast. Yeah, there you go. There you go. No, seriously, they will be testing for the first time the new state required SAT test. And then another thing that's taken place that I think it's exciting is about we have about 112 staff members that are taking together a 6-week course on multiple tiers of supports for our students to build our capacity and to understand how to support students, whether it's behavioral or academic, to achieve their highest potential. So they're going through basically a 35 to 40-hour course with a professor out of the University of Washington right now. It's going for 6 weeks, and that adds time. I mean, that's 4 to 5 hours a week of time preparing. They meet via Zoom on Thursdays, and they're growing their capacity to lead their buildings with these tiers of support within the school, which is an exciting thing when we have principals, teachers, support staff working together for the good of our children. So thank you very much. I could have kept it going.
Thank you, Mr. Hartman.
Started laughing.
And Chief Human Resources Officer, Mr. Akiwa.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members. Jim, you know you just want to pop popcorn and watch that SAT. I mean, come on. You know you like it. A few updates from our area. One in particular that's exciting is staffing for the HR department. Jean Lang, who was with us for many years as an employee here, was our data specialist, had moved with her family and has now moved back, and we're lucky to capture her to join us in the HR department as an HR secretary. So we welcome Jean Lane back to our fold here in Crown Point. It's really been a wonderful addition, and she's now settling in, and you know, when she settles into my position or in our office in HR, it's also helping then the transitions that are going on in the business department. There were some new members as well. So it's nice to see that our central office staff has picked up a talented individual, and we're really growing as a wonderful team here at central office. Today also marks the end of nominations for Teacher of the Year. So I know our community and families have been nominating folks, so we're going to move into stage 2 of that effort to then have our buildings elect their representative to be considered for Teacher of the Year. So we'll keep you posted as that effort moves forward. But we want to thank everybody for their nominations that they may have given on behalf of our great teachers here and employees here in Crown Point Community School Corporation. Finally, a fun activity for me in the month of February, we had planned a breakfast for our new teachers to get back together in one big room and have sort of a first semester reflection. But as you know, when we returned from winter break, we were already experiencing an uptick in COVID positives at the time, so we just decided it probably wouldn't be a good idea to put all those folks in one room. But I've been going out to the buildings now, meeting with all of our new teachers on their actual school sites for a couple of reasons. Number one is just to check on them to make sure they're doing okay. It's really nice to hear all the positive comments they have to share. So I have to give kudos out to all of our buildings and our leaders and our staff members that made these people feel welcomed, supported. They all feel like they have advocates out there right now, halfway, 3/4 of the way through their first lap here in Crown Point in all of our buildings. They're also providing us great feedback to continue to improve our new teacher academy, which is, when we bring our folks in, we have some scheduled activities before the school year starts. So they're providing useful information to continue to improve and make that program as strong as possible. So I've just had a great time out there. I've got a couple more buildings to go. But thank you, all of our staff members, for making our new teachers feel welcomed and loved here in the Crown Point Community School Corporation. So that's all for tonight for Human Resource. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kiwa. Director of Communications, Ms. Allen.
Thank you. Good evening. Keep an eye on your newsletters, website, social media that we push out in the next couple of weeks. We'll be releasing our new video series called Super Things, hosted by Superintendent Dr. Terrell. This is a video series where we go school to school and highlight something great that's happening in each building. So up to this point, he has played the ukulele with some of our 5th graders, visited Project Lead the Way at the high school, went to Timothy Ball for their One School, One Book program, and next week we'll be at MacArthur. So these will roll out one every couple of weeks, starting in a couple of weeks. Also on Friday, we will launch a school spirit wear store, online 24/7, available spirit wear for Cron Point community on Friday.
What was the phrase again of Dr. Terrell's?
Super Things.
Super Things in Crown Point.
It just made me think of the movie Super Troopers.
Wow. Not an overly.
I actually think I may have found my retirement gig, though, playing the ukulele.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Key was very talented in music, if you need tips.
Maybe we could do that.
For those of you that don't know,
Oh, Dr. Terrell holds his own, huh? Oh, all right.
don't need to get into this right now.
Okay, no.
There may have been some music.
Okay.
Interesting. Thank you, Ms. Allen. Move to Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Terrell.
So just a few things this evening. As you know, our General Assembly has been in session for the last 6 weeks or so, causing havoc and trying to do the best they can for Hoosiers across our state. Excited to announce today that House Bill 1134, which is probably one of the most impactful bills for schools in a negative way possible in the last many years, is dead, as I was informed tonight by Denise Jansen, our president of our union, Teachers Association. And I have regular contact with our representatives through text, through phone calls, different measures. But earlier this year, and I want to give credit to Mrs. Jansen, who is here with us this evening, she emailed me probably 2-3 weeks ago. And one of the things that we had talked about when I first got here was that I would support the union as they were going down to the legislators and different things as they came, And she came to me and said, you know, we really feel like this bill is one of the ones that is really concerning to us as a corporation and across the state with our educators. And she said, would you consider allowing us, supporting us to go down to the state with some representatives here from Crown Point Schools to go to the State House and spend the day? And so we talked a little bit more and worked through that, and we were able to provide some release time for our teachers to go down so they didn't have to take personal days or vacation days. And they went down and spent 3 different days with 3 different groups of people.
2 plus the snow day vacation.
So to go down and actually interact with legislators in the State House, and that takes a lot of courage. If you've never done that before, to go down there, one, you walk into this unbelievably beautiful building, very stately, but then to be able to talk with them, and they know what they've been talking about, and they've got their jargon, but to just be able to represent our concerns as teachers here, thank you for your leadership in that, Denise, and thank you to our teachers. I know I've received a couple of notes from them about the opportunity to go, and I'm kind of the other way. I'm thanking them for being willing to go. So it's one thing when I say it, or if you guys say it, it's a whole different thing when they hear it from our teachers and see them with teachers from across the state doing it. So thank you to that, and a good result for that bill. Keep our fingers crossed on the others that are still out there that are kind of impactful for us. So I want to recognize tonight the performance of our students. You saw the kids here, you heard from Mr. Gianfermi, you heard from Mrs. Ramirez. There's unbelievable things going on. The things that Mrs. Pascas is talking about coming up with that doesn't happen without great teachers and without great administrators and leaders in our district. And while that's the fruits of what we see and represent our great school corporation, I just want to take time to thank our teachers and administrators for all their efforts. You know, all those, I don't know how many thousands of kids were at the high school and the middle school on that Saturday, but that was a Saturday that most of those people were there volunteering their time to help our kids have great experiences. And not just our kids, but kids from around the state and around multiple states as well. So thank you to them. Construction progress continues to take place. If you haven't been out by Taft, you're going to need a truck to get out there at this point in time because of how the roads are and getting back and forth. But they've got steel structures up, starting to put the roofing on. The auxiliary gym walls are going up, so it's really moving along fast. We expect at the high school they'll be breaking ground here in the next week or so. We've worked through that permit process with the state, with the city, and a great relationship and things going on there. So we have some really good things going on. Just appreciate the way that, in spite of noise, in spite of distractions that are going on around us, we just continue to push forward, and our kids, our teachers do amazing things. So really appreciate all their efforts.
Thank you, Dr. Terrell. Item 7 this evening, got the other business of Board of School Trustees. Or anything anybody would like to talk about? Take an opportunity to roundtable discussion, anything, any questions?
I'd just like, since Dion is here, Dion, how are we with supplies and that for all these projects, being that there are issues throughout the country with getting things that we need? So could you just maybe an overall of, are we as good as we can expect?
Here's what I'll say, certain pieces of equipment like mechanical equipment, roofing, we're just calling audibles on the schedule, so we're making adjustments based on what we know. We know, used to be able to get a chiller 12 weeks, now it's 32 weeks. So we're planning the schedule accordingly. I will say that now, this Wednesday, we open bids for MacArthur. Next Wednesday, we open bids for Princeton. We have preview meetings, giving the contractors an opportunity to come into the building and see existing conditions. Typically, we'll get maybe 15 to 20. Both Fridays, we had the preview meetings, there were approximately 40. So they're hungry right now, which means there's going to be a great level of competition. And again, the schedules that are currently out there for the contractors to bid on include what we're experiencing in the market right now as far as schedule. So we're okay. The overall message, the biggest impact is roofing right now. Used to get it in, like, you get insulation in 8 weeks, now it's 8 months, 10 months.
What do you attribute to competition? Contractors? Why so much?
Well, aside from the hospital work that's going on, and that's a specialty group, I mean, several contractors that focus on hospital work,
what you'll see is there'll be contractors that did MacArthur that may go even more aggressive towards Timothy Ball because they're very close to each other. Plus you get the contractors that were unsuccessful getting MacArthur that will sharpen their pencil. So pretty confident you'll get some good results on both of these. And then Wheeler's gonna be out to bid here in the middle school project. So assuming all goes well this Wednesday and next Wednesday, come before you on 21st board meeting, I believe it is. Board recommendation.
As always, appreciate your efforts.
Appreciate the opportunity.
I have one to bring up in case anyone else is thinking about it, but the something that we need to acknowledge is the Crown Point the Alumni Association, and we've had some side conversations over the years. I'm an alumni. Scott, you're an alumni. I'm sure the organization is trying to put together a alumni dinner early April, and they generally send out raffle tickets every year. I talked to whoever, Mr. Lee helps run the program. Mr. Key, are you familiar with a bit? So they had some issue came up recently, and I'm bringing it up because they were accused of being a fraudulent group trying to raise money with the tag Crown Point alumni. My phone call with him, seeing this in the past, thought that it was on the up and up and everything was fine, and it is. But they've just, I feel like they've run across many obstacles, and I'm not saying this as if I have an opinion of how it could be done differently, but I think that now we have somebody like Miss Allen on our team, that, not that, I just think that we as a board, or Dr. Terrell, or anyone involved, whether alumni or not, we should try to find some way to help out this group, this alumni association, and so I'm just bringing it up now so we can hear if anyone has any thoughts or opinions or.
So I've been to the dinner before and contributed for the raffle, and I think it was the year Mr. Caravana was being nominated for one of the awards that they give out.
Right, they typically like to honor a Hall of Fame teacher.
Correct. So
Teacher Hall of Fame.
I think it's wonderful, and I think it could do nothing but help in using Brooke's expertise with Mr. Lee, and I can't think of the other individual's name that I've spoken with before. So, but I think it would be a great connection to even expand a little further, so.
I mean, I'd like to, volunteer some effort to, communicate with you, Dr. Terrell, to say, hey, what, and even, when I spoke to Mr. Lee, I told him, I said, I'll speak to Dr. Terrell about, trying to get a lunch or a breakfast, and maybe we, see who you'd recommend inviting, see who could, maybe, they're graduates of probably the 70s. So it'd probably be very helpful to just have some diversity on in their efforts, and if we could even find some people to help. So I want to bring that up.
Brian Smith and I have had some conversations about some other possibilities of ways to try and help that organization as well. So getting a meeting together with them would be greatly appreciated.
Maybe if nothing else, just letting them know that we're thinking about them, and even it might not happen tomorrow or next month or 6 months from now, that hey, there's an opportunity to bring I'm not trying to put words in Mr. Lee's mouth, but he just sounded a bit stressed, and I really think that he has always tried his best to do what he can with it. So the retreat, it's a great idea. We talked at the last board member about reaching out downstate or wherever to find somebody to help us conduct the retreat, and Dr. Terrell had the thought that Dr. Lux would be, if he would be willing, or if he can, it would be great for all of us, and I think I've had some conversations with you guys, that'd be great, He's doing some vacationing, Mr. Reese is I had a couple of vacations, maybe a kid event, so we want to, it's really important for all of us for Mr. Reese to be there. So Dr. Terrell, you have some dates in May?
So we have some dates in May. Fortunately, Dr. Lux is spending his best retirement life, and good for him. But we're looking at May 10th, which is a Tuesday, or May 12th, which is a Wednesday. Then the other dates, right now, we're just trying to look at a 2-week window right now. The other dates would be the following week, the 16th, which is a Monday, the 18th, which is a Wednesday, or the 19th, which is a Thursday. So if you guys can look at those, it'd be great if we could nail that down this evening. So that way we can get on his schedule when he's out of town and traveling. Are there anything that jumps off that are not good nights? Scott, are you playing golf on Wednesdays?
I'm a Thursday,
You're a
but if I
Thursday?
need to miss, I can do it if everybody else works for a date. But obviously then the 10th, 16th, and 18th would be my first three choices.
Yeah, my kids will have my baseball practice every one of those nights, no doubt, so I'll make it work.
Okay.
Yeah.
During the week is good.
You said the 10th was good for you?
10th would be good for me, the Tuesday.
10th.
Tom, how's the 10th of May look for you?
I think I'm good.
Good.
We have
Okay.
should be good at home. I gotta check with my wife on something just to confirm it, so, but I'll.
So if you
Fine, well.
guys, how about this? We'll plan on the 10th if I don't hear from you by the end of the day tomorrow. Or if you guys don't let David know and he get with me, either way.
Sounds good, just get down.
And then I can get with Dr. Lux and clear his schedule. Cabinet members, that all work for you guys? Good, good.
That was
May
cleared
10th?
with Mr. Reese already?
We talked about it. I'm gonna get back with him. He's out of town right now, but I'll get back with him too.
We're looking at from like 4 or 5 till 9 at night, something like that.
Probably from 5 to 9 is what we were thinking. Yep.
We can still take, Dr. Terrell and I spoke a couple times, and we didn't really come up with much new, but we could definitely take thoughts for topics that you want to be, considered ahead of time, so. We probably already figured out, knocked out 2.5, 3 hours of just,
Oh, yeah,
so,
easily.
yeah.
Yep.
Just the other point, two things I had were that, Scott Babjack, so put you on the spot that 5 years ago, we had a conversation about how we thought it was important for Crown Point to have a more robust e-learning opportunity or, quote unquote, snow day situation or if something comes up. And I think that obviously COVID threw the gas on that to move forward, but it seems like we've got there, and the last couple, from my experience at home, were fairly successful. Certainly agree with those to say that the kids need to be in school, and none of us up here and none of the administrators think that we'd prefer to have a remote day than not. But I just wanted to bring it up and ask you with me that we do think it's important, and it needs to be, the opportunity should be there for those days when necessary. You agree that that was something that.
Yeah, I mean, when you look, back at how far we've come in 5 years, where the complaint used to be, well, we've got the technology, why aren't we using it? To now, do we have to be using it on this day? So
Yeah.
that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's always going to be opinions one way or the other as to, what the call for the day is. But at least the technology's there. At least we're not in a situation where we're having to add days to the end of the school year now and chew away at the already short summer. So, no, it's a good thing. We've come a long way.
Yeah, not
5 years.
I wasn't trying to put you on the spot for any
No,
type
I-
of opinion, but I knew you had we had talked and thought about this in the past, and it seemed like,
I'll
it's-
agree with you this.
you-
We all want our kids in school as much as possible. If
Yeah.
you don't doubt
Yeah.
that, spend an e-learning day in the Babjack house and.
And I could thank Mr. Babjack for wanting me to experience a true e-learning day.
I did
And
invite
he
him,
offered
yes.
to allow me to have his youngest son, I
Yep.
believe,
No patience
come
with
and spend the
middle
day
school
with me.
It's not the, no,
Not the math you did?
I can do the math. I can do the math.
I
It's the
think
attitude that I can't.
Oh, wow.
So.
And we're kind of we're rehashing some conversations we've had before, and the explanations of how this process takes place. And I bring it up a little bit because I think that the value in, you're not going to make a call because of hurting or not hurting people's feelings, or you're going to do what you think is best. But when you have that support to know, I think that if you make that call aggressively with the information that you have, so much planning can take place now because of the technology we have. When you know at 8 o'clock, or when you give the teacher a heads up at 11 in the morning that you do a little extra work today, be prepared in case we have a remote learn day tomorrow, the advantages are enormous. So
Yeah,
I was
I
kind
mean,
of just saying, you know,
right.
I want to say thank you for the way that you handled those days. Whatever the outcome of the days were, where you lived, the roads were clean or not, I think they were handled well, and I hope that that's a way that we see communication take place in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we're in definitely a better situation with the ability to call a day the night before, and give people a heads up, or send out an email to the teachers and let them know, hey, we might be calling it tonight, so bring your stuff home and be prepared. So those are all really good things. But as we move the bar and we get better at those things, then the expectation becomes higher in the community of, you know, I guess, trying to get it right as much as possible. And, you know, I think most people probably just look out their front window on a snow day and see if their road is closed, or you know, has my road been plowed? Why aren't we at school? But it's obviously not that complicated. And a lot of times we make calls, or you guys make calls based on roads that are, you know, county roads, or what's the likelihood that a major road is going to be, you know, snowed over. We did receive some complaints on one day, and where I-65 was actually closed on that day, that morning. So it's just you know, you ask people to be patient and appreciate the big picture and all the work that goes into it. It's not just one neighborhood, but it's a you know, a massive undertaking to call that, and a lot of people are involved. So
my last item is just to have the opportunity with you guys all here to explain to you how I've been handling some of the emails coming through to the board email. We were in a wave there for a while that whether everybody received an individualized response, or when we had a wave of communication come through, we did ask Ms. Allen, and we worked through some templated responses. The last, I'd say, 4 or 5 weeks, the way I've been handling it is that individuals who may email frequently and are, I'll say, call it passing information versus asking a question. I hope by now they understand we're reading, and I have not been responding to all of those. So if somebody would like that to change, just get in touch with me off to the side and let me know. When there's a question that comes through, Dr. Terrell has helped me with some answers before I even read the email, so that I could respond with the proper answers. So that those have been taken care of. But maybe more important, I want you guys to understand, when the responses are sent, when we receive, and it's not because it may be demanding or in bold letters that I don't respond, but I'm not. You know, when the email is coming through with, you know, capital, and then, you know, like exclamation, I respect what I'm reading, but I'm not responding to those. So if anybody reads them and say, hey, this one needs a response, I'm going to take it or whatever, just let me know. I'm just getting your opinions and make sure that as the one and kind of the point person for responding, I want to make sure you guys are okay with that. And if you disagree, let me know now or off on the side or whatever. So, but in all, we are trying to give response to all emails. So we're still, you know, it's not, and I do know that we certainly read them. So
yeah, I mean, people might not, everybody's not going to like all the answers, but this is another process that we've improved on over the years. We went from 2 years ago not really having access to email and checking emails that often, and then lucky for us, we got our inboxes set up right before COVID. So
Whose idea?
I don't know. Whose idea was it?
I don't know, but I see you sitting to my right.
My left. That narrows it down.
all right,
Careful what you ask for.
It's all good.
Yep.
What else do we have? Anybody else have anything to discuss? Review, questions? Anybody?
No update with the city on project over there at Bulldog Park?
Yeah, so we are working through the MOU process right now. Their attorney came up with the first draft, and we passed it on to Cheryl, and she's been working through that. And so, as you can imagine, there's some logistic things that we're working through there. The other part of it is, because we're looking at using permit fees and putting them back into the city's, I don't want to say coffers, but using their dollars to really go together as a team on making an addition to a building over there. we've got to have some final numbers from our end, so we're trying to work through some of that still, so then we can come up with a total, but we hope to be able to bring that to you guys here probably in the next 4 to 6, maybe 4 to 8 weeks, to have that ironed out and good to go, so. Again, the fact that they were able to send us the first draft and let us then volley back, from what I understand, has been a huge improvement in that process as well, so.
Good to hear this progress. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else? Board statements, of appreciation, recognition. Mr. Smith?
Yes, thank you. I just want to take a moment, I'm going to try to go quick. But whoever came up with the concept, I know Brooke spoke about spirit wear in a spirit store. That kind of got glossed over. I want to touch on it. What a great idea. So I don't know who gets credit for that, but I love that idea, and hopefully that works out.
Give it to Brooke, she's the one working through it all.
Nice, Brooke. Second, just want to touch on, again, we heard a lot about robotics and STEM and things of that nature tonight. It seemed like there's a ton of success. We knew that was coming, so I just want to remind people, I think, I'm going to confirm this, I think the expansion at the high school is expanding room so that all this young talent, we can keep that going up into the high school. So hopefully they'll have enough room.
And middle schools as well.
And middle schools as well.
And even into the elementary area, so they have space designated.
Yeah, which is extremely exciting. It's such an important part of education. So something that hasn't been touched on, I think theater has a musical. You know I'm the theater guy, so Anastasia's coming, and I believe that is a Disney now, or owned by Disney, which always does well. So David, get your kids ready, get the girls ready, Anastasia's coming to town. So that starts March 11th, excited about that. And then lastly, I know, Dr. Terrell, you touched on the gymnastics. I know they performed well, so I want to congratulate them. And of course, we want to encourage them and hope they do well and wish them the best as they continue forward. So.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
The performances for Anastasia? Yes. I can.
Mr. Babjack?
Nothing for me tonight.
Mr. Angel?
I'm actually free myself to come there.
And, yep, I think we covered a lot early in the meeting, so.
All in an hour and a half. Congratulations, Mr. Maloney.
Dr. Terrell, any final remarks before we look for motion to adjourn?
I would just say to that hour and a half, 35 of it was celebrating kids, so
Yeah, outstanding.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal. Yep, thank you guys.
All right, thank you, everybody. Motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Angel, second by Mr. Babjack. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?